the name Body Count, like, because in L.A. the news would come on and say, this weekend 5 people died in gang homicides. Now sports. Like they would give a count. They would give a count every week on how many. They doing it in Chicago right now. They'll tell you how many people died.
They're taking that tally.
Yeah, it's a tally. So we made. So I got this band. We're playing around bullshit places, and in Perry Farrell, he wants me to
from
do
Jane's Addiction.
He wants me to do "Don't Call Me Nigger Whitey" with him, a Sly Stone record for his
cover song
video to Gift, and I do it with him. And then he says, "I got this concert going out this summer. You should come on it. It's called Lollapalooza." I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. He says, yeah, I don't have a rapper. You could come. You know, I like you. So I'm like, okay. And I said, what do I have? And he says, you have an hour. Do whatever you want to. So that's when I split the set. And I did 30 minutes Ice-T, 30 minutes Body Count. We went out there with the records we had. KKK, Bitch, Cop Killer, There Goes the Neighborhood. And we went out there and we rocked shit. And Body Count was born. We came right out with an album after the tour. Sold like, 700,000.
Was this through Warner or was this independent?
This was Warner.
So Warner decided to sign
Body Count.
Body Count.
So Warner had now 2 groups. They had an Ice-T band and Body Count. And everything was good. Life was perfect.
Everything was good.
Life was perfect. And then all of a sudden, the shit hit the fan. The motherfuckers. Now, Cop Killer Controversy happened almost a year after the record come out. So I'm at the house and niggas call me, nigga, Ice, fucking president is on TV talking about Ice.
George Bush Sr.
No, it was Quayle.
Vice President Dan Quayle.
I want me to date it. We were playing Techno Bowl.
Classic.
All right? A little dating it, right? Yeah. So niggas hit the channel and shit. And Quayle was like, yo, and Ice-T. And they was like, I was like, what the fuck?
Putting out and distributing a record and making money off a record that says it's okay to kill cops. I find that outrageous.
But you didn't know yet what was in store.
Son, when the president says your name, shit is real. It doesn't get realer than that. It's like that oh shit moment where you go, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Like ice cream truck sitting in front of your house in the middle of the motherfucking, winter, like it's really good. And people don't know, like when the president says your name, shit gets real. It's like if Barack Obama right now says, what's your name, Pete? What last name?
Gibaldi.
If the motherfucker, if he says, if Barack Obama and Pete Gibaldi, right then, your shit just goes upside down because every agency does a dirt asshole check of your ass and they find out everything they know. They know your mother's blood type. Why? Because the next question from the president could be, what do we know about him? And they need to have that shit. They can't be, well, I think he's on the radio. No, they find out. And you feel it when they check you like that. They pull my daughter out of school and asked her, was I connected to paramilitary organizations?
How old was your daughter at the time?
She was in junior high school.
That's fucked up.
This is how they get down.
And I heard they were doing the IRS started fucking with you.
I got audited 3 times in 2 years.
3 times? Is that heard of?
No, it's the fucking feds, man. Right. That's the feds. And Ollie North said I should be tried for sedition, which is punishable by death.
Right.
So I'm like, yo, man, it's a record, man. I'm not. There's no call to arms.
And it's not going away. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's out of control.
Right.
And
how are you feeling at this time? Are you upset? Are you like...
I was feeling like, whoa, I didn't really think this was going to happen. This is not what I want. I knew this was an edgy record, but not controversial. I've been playing this record for a year. And I thought Cops was fair game. Black Flag doing records about cops. There's a rock band called Millions of Dead Cops. So I just thought,
but it's a little different. Something strikes that vein when it's a black voice.
Well, what happened was at that year, you know how it is right now, Ferguson and all this shit. That was happening in them days.
Rodney King,
before Rodney King,
right?
But they was the cops was kind of getting. See, Cop Killer came out a year before Rodney King. People think, oh, you did that after Rodney. No, that was before Rodney. It had nothing to do with the riots and nothing. We had done that record before because we had performed it for a year on Lollapalooza. So that was part of the media spin. The media spin was, "Whoa, look what he's doing. He's trying to create." No.
Race riots and all.
Shit,
Right.
we did that shit a year earlier. It was because the cops was out of pocket in L.A. and they was doing what the fuck y'all catching them doing right now. So when the fraternal order of police in Austin, Texas, found this record, they said we can shift the press from us to this guy. And they did the Willie Horton thing. They flipped it and made me become the enemy, and they weren't even mad at me. They were at Warner Brothers. They're like, okay, this is black rage, right, with the police. But Warner Brothers, white company, how can you give him the platform to do this? We're going to boycott you.
And they started digging in their pockets. They started talking about great adventures, Six Flags.
30-something million, 32 million went into in stock. Everything went upside down, and oh man, it just got hectic. And now here I am. Then the Source, I went in on the Source. The Source went in on me. Oh, because they called me up. Yo, you got to give us an exclusive interview. I'm like, nigga, I got Rolling Stone on the fucking phone. What the fuck are y'all talking about? Well, we're the Source. I'm like, y'all ain't the motherfucking Source. I'm the Source right now. You know, matter of fact, fuck off, right? So I told them to get fucked. Shit was hot right now. I'm like, I could do like this and have a CNN truck pull up in front of my house. I'm like the hottest shit, like, you know, Public Enemy #1 now.
Like for real though.
For real. So, you know, they call me into Warner Brothers. So they like, yo, we got a meeting. We want to talk. And there's like a big table and shit. So they flip a quarter onto the table. They said, this table is Time Warner. This quarter is the music division. Time Warner is theme parks. It's this. You're a spot on that quarter. But that spot is causing the whole table problems. Isn't that a genius way of breaking a situation down to where a motherfucker like me understood it? I was like, so my little speck is causing this. And the record division is only this big. Right. Because it's the stockholders. So I thought about it. They never told me, they never did anything. So I said, okay, my first move is, well, we'll pull the record off the album.
But you fought for a while, though. You didn't fight. Nah,
because the motherfuckers are so gangster and so fly that they didn't get mad at me. How you gonna get mad at me? You just partied with me off the record. We just had a gold record party. You can't get mad at me. Me and you's partners. Ice, we got a problem here. So they know I was gangster anyway. So I'm like, you know what? You're my friend, and I did some shit, and I got you in trouble. They say you fucked with the Queen's Guards. So I said, let's switch. Let's pull the record. Let's pull that song off and let's keep the record floating.
Yo, did that hurt, though, to say that, man?
I'm a kind of motherfucker, man. I understand situations, man. It's not that serious. I was learning that freedom of speech is a concept at that time. Also got to remember that I was the first record ever to be stickered. I have the first parental guidance sticker. So I already knew. And by now, with the heat and the president and shit, I'm like, I'm not looking to get I'm not trying to get killed. You know, like,
you got motherfuckers trying to really, like, bomb threats. Well, there's bomb threats now.
Yeah, you read all that shit. It's crazy. And you know, the thing of it is I wasn't ever worried about the cops. I'm worried about a cop lover. You start worried about your
them fringe cats.
The guy, my brother's a cop, you know, and I'm gonna kill you. So I'm like, yo, this shit is out of hand, right? It's too much press. I didn't like being the fucking person in the mid of it, and it was not. And it wasn't my job to promote free speech. I was not the First Amendment. It was just, this is how I felt about cops. So people were protecting me on the First Amendment, but I'm like, protect me on the brutal cop shit. Right. Don't come in. Well, he has the right to say. No, say what the fuck, why he did it. Because the cops is out of pocket. They wouldn't stand. Everybody, call me. Wesley called me. He had my back. Quincy Jones. But, they let me understand that as far as rappers coming out and backing me, rappers are all in the mainstream, rappers are one big nigga. So if you get in trouble in the rap, it doesn't matter. That's another. You need a square, somebody from way over to the left to come and support you. All the rappers can help. It doesn't matter. They're one big nigga. It doesn't matter. They don't care. You know, you need somebody powerful. So anyway, I'm like, you know what? We're going to keep it strategic. Pull it. I'll pull the record. I'll give the record away. Because people say, oh, you did it for a publicity stunt. It was for the money. So we pressed up like 10,000 records. We would give them away at the concert. And I put a record on the album called Freedom of Speech. Album went gold again without the record. So.
Which is making motherfuckers still mad.
Hell, you know. And it's just what it was, you know. And then, you know, after that, when all that shit was happening, I was doing a home invasion album. I did the home invasion album. They brought in a person. They actually took the lyrics of the album and put it on these big boards, and they went through the lyrics. I had a lyric in one of the records on home invasion. I say, what, I give a fuck about a cop or a G-man. They all talk shit, their breath smelling like semen. I take them in the alley all alone, put them in the prone, pop, pop, pop to the dome. It's the G style. And I was like, you killing cops again here, Ice.
There you go.
So I'm like, y'all niggas is taking and decoding this shit down, right? So that's when I was like, you know what? Can I get a release? I'm afraid of tampering with my work.
Now you got to second guess the shit that comes natural to you.
I owed them 4 more records.
Right.
And they just said, no harm, no foul, and they let me go. And they didn't pay. There was no payola. There was no threats. It was just
gentlemanly shit, like.
But the fly shit Warner Brothers did, they didn't make me pay for that record. They let me leave with home invasion. So the money they gave for it, I never had to recoup it. They, you know, and I took that record to Priority, and that went gold.
Yeah. Now, is it true that when that whole shit blew, that Warner Brothers called all the rap labels in, and they was like, "Yo"? Well,
no, it was you had it was a trickle down effect. Shit got hectic.
Right.
I don't know exactly what happened, but I know the aftermath. You got to remember, at that time, Warner Brothers had Prince. They had Madonna. They had Andrew Dice Clay. They had Slayer. They had, I think they had Ghetto Boys. Rick Rubin had Ghetto Boys.
Yes.
And they were the home of, I guess, the edgy music. They knew that once they were censored, it was going to be the end of them. And all the way up to the Death Row situation where they shut down the situation when Dre and them was doing that deal, and it fell through before Interscope. There was some shit. I forget, who was it? Ted Turner?
Yeah, it was Ted Turner.
You know, that was all the fallout from my shit.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just somebody had to be first, and I was the first. I touched that electric fence, and the shit went bow, like, you know. And
now, did that fuck up a lot of your money, man?
It fucked up a lot of it fucked with my credibility.
Right.
Because the streets didn't understand it. They looked like I backed up.
Right.
I'm like, I had no options. You know, I don't have a label. This is a label. This is the man with the money. I had to do what I had to do to keep my shit. But, you know, the Source and people went, Ice is giving in, Ice is selling out.
Yeah, they kind of called you a sellout.
Chuck
the
D.
Source.
But you know what Chuck D called me? He said, those people in the war cannot comment on the battles. So that was all I needed to hear from my G. He said, if you ain't in the war, you can't comment on the battle. Nigga, they don't know what's going down on the ground level. You in there. I mean.
You on the front lines.
And I don't have no, what am I supposed to do? Okay, so let's play it the other way. Fuck it. I ain't pulling the record, this, that, and the third. What does that get me? What does that do? It pigeonholes me into a situation I might not be sitting here today. Sometimes you have to retreat and return with superior firepower. That's the art of war. It wasn't worth me battling because that wasn't a battle I picked. I made Cop Killer. That was a protest record. I never backed up. I never said, I'm sorry I made the record. I'm glad I made that. That was an important part in history. But the politics and the music movement of what I was in as a business, niggas couldn't understand because they didn't have record deals and they didn't know how this whole shit operated.
Right.
So I flipped to another label, Priority, who had put out the NWA records. Brian Turner was game, and we kept moving forward. But, you know, because the Source didn't get their interview, they got butthurt, and they went on some little, you know, and at that time, they were the Bible, and niggas listened to them, so they was able to, you know, throw me under the bus, so to speak. But
was there ever any threats made to the Source, man?
on records.
Yeah.
You know, I got a record called It's On, but no real shit. I knew Dave Mays and them niggas. There was nobody to threaten. It was just corny that so much power was in one magazine that was on some more bullshit. You know, wasn't even dealing with the shit. I was dealing with real shit. You know, they should have had a little compassion, like at least. But they got butthurt because I did the Rolling Stone cover.
Yeah. So how did that change your life afterwards, man? Did that slow down your money?
Hell
man?
yeah, I got blackballed.
You got blackballed.
I couldn't.
Touring kind of slowed down.
Well, first thing went New Jack City 2. That was a Warner Brothers film, and they wasn't fucking with me, and that's why because they wasn't fucking with me,
right.
And then
you had a TV deal on the table too with HBO,
a lot of
and
shit.
DC Comics, which was a division of Warner Brothers, called Ice TV.
Yeah, shit got bad,
right.
Man. You know, motherfuckers. I was taboo, you know, and
what'd you do, man? What was you doing during that time, man?
Just checking out who our friends were,
right?
You know, like. Just like looking around at how corny motherfuckers are. It's just like right now in hip hop, niggas. Oh, yo, you ain't gangster. You'll tell a nigga go do some gangster shit, and as soon as the kid shoots somebody, then the same people will be on the internet. Oh, he's a sucker. He's stupid. You know, it's like you have to. It was really a great learning experience. Like, nigga, make your own decision. Don't expect these cats to back you. You are in this shit dolo at all times. Fans or no fans, you're in it dolo. Now, a lot of real motherfuckers held me down, so I was still able to sell records.
Right.
But it was like a turning point, you know. So
how'd you come out of that, man?
Just kept making records, kept talking, you know, kept doing body count. I think that helped me do body count, because the fact that nobody got your back or whoever does got your back is on some old bullshit. This just gave me more like fire into my lyrics and the shit I was feeling. Like, you know, fuck it. You know, y'all motherfuckers ain't real. I'm on this shit. It's a dolo mission. Fuck y'all. You know, so motherfuckers' opinions really don't fuck with me now. Cause I'm like, you a corny ass nigga. It's like niggas asking me, yo, will the streets say this? I'm like, let me tell you something, man. I used to pray on the streets. I thought I was smarter than everybody on the street. I was the nigga that was taking niggas money on the street. So my attitude is, how I'm gonna let a nigga on the corner tell me shit when I always thought I was flyer than him to begin with. So I don't listen to the streets. Like, the streets are the streets, you know? I ran with an elite group of motherfucking players that was on a mission to get up out of the hood to another level. You know what I'm saying? From the city streets, we was on our way to the corporate suites. That was our hustle. We trying to make that move. Now, all you corny niggas that want to drink 40s and hit switches and all that, that's cool. I'll come back and do that with y'all on weekends. In the meantime, I'm gonna be in Barbados.
That's just a crazy disclaimer, man.
I'm not trapped in that zone, but when I got to this point where I felt, you know what it was? I just learned that fans are just fans. Yeah. They're not soldiers. They're fans, and when the shit hits the fan, but how I should have known that from the street.
Right, but still, when
the shit hits the fan, you're gonna handle it by yourself.
Yeah.
So I just chilled for a minute.
Were you angry? Were you bitter?
Yeah, I was mad, but
mad at who? Like, nobody specifically, but mad at who? The game.
I don't know, man. I was just looking at it like I didn't really even know I could get in trouble for what I was doing. Right. I thought the free speech was really free speech.
Right.
So that and that's later, where I say freedom of speech, just watch what you say. You have the ability to say anything, but you have to be prepared for the ramifications of what comes with it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was dumb to. So, yeah, if I say cop killer, I got to be prepared for the cops to get mad. They have the right to get mad. If you say something anti-gay, you got to be prepared for the gay people to protest you. You can't go to your girl and go, yo, I just fucked your sister. Free speech. Freedom of speech, but watch what you say. Yeah. Be prepared. So I learned something. It was a rough lesson, but I learned that anything I say, I have to be prepared for the ramifications that are involved in it. I just can't say anything and think nobody can do anything about it. They can.
In that heavy, heavy climate where, cops are livid at rappers and, showing up in protests and implied threats and all this kind of stuff, you release a song about assassinating the president.
Right.
So get with Ollie, cause I'm probably finna make you mad. I'm steady waiting for the day I get to see his ass and give him 2 for from the barrel of a black gorilla, and that's real from the motherfucking bush killer.
What exactly happened? There are a bunch of sort of stories floating in the ether around the government's reaction to that song. They came to visit you. They sent you a letter. What exactly happened?
I got a letter, and there was a visit by somebody at the office when I wasn't there. So I had an office, a company called Scarface Records at the time, and it was a staff of 13. That shit seems so far removed from reality now. but it was, it was a fully functional label at the time when fully functional labels were viable. And I got a call from Daryl Hodges, who was a general manager there, and he told me that some people from, he said, I think they were the Secret Service came by, but we got a letter for sure. And the letter was the same letter that NWA got from Priority.
The letter that Paris refers to here is the letter that Priority Records got shortly after the 1989 release of NWA's Fuck the Police. This letter from an assistant director at the FBI complained about the content of the song and purported to represent all of the police community. The letter was eventually made public, and the FBI had to clarify that they weren't going to infringe on anyone's First Amendment rights. For more about this, including an image of the actual letter, check out the article, The FBI Agent Who Hunted NWA, which is linked in the show notes at thecyphershow.com.
Expressing pretty much their discontent with the direction of the material, and not so thinly veiled threats. But, I mean, the difference between now and then is that now the powers that be simply ignore you. And there's been so much industry consolidation that only a handful of outlets exist through major channels that really enable an artist to be catapulted to the forefront. And back then, all they would do was complain about it. So as with anything, if people opposed to you are vocal in their opposition to what you do, but yet it's still available, that just makes people want it more. That's what was happening at the time, is that C. Dolores Tucker and, folks like that would come out and anything that had a parental advisory sticker made you want it more. That's just human psychology. And that's what existed. It's like, we don't, that makes you kind of the bad boy of hip hop kind of thing. Ice-T, regardless of what you think about the Body Count record, the profile of that record was elevated by the controversy.
Yeah, certainly. And it ended up, the backlash to that record, ended up getting a drop from Tommy Boy.
Right. Actually got dropped from Tommy Boy probably because there was somebody there whose husband was a cop. Because what she did, it was somebody that worked on the staff that showed the artwork for a single called Coffee, Donuts, and Death to her husband or something. I forgot. So long ago. I don't really remember what the specifics were, but she was mortified by it and very much offended by that because, Coffee, Donuts, and Death was a song about the revenge, and again, this is in 92, 91, the revenge killing of a racist cop who brutalizes people in the community. At the time was something that was unheard of in music. It's kind of commonplace now for a lot of acts, but at the time, especially in on the heels of Cop Killer, it wasn't something that occurred all that often, and there were just probably 3 or 4 acts doing it, me included, and so that combined with Bush Killer in the wake of the Cop Killer controversy is what got is what caught the attention of Jerry Levine and Mo Austin at Warner Music. So we all went to Warner Music. It was me, it was Ice-T, it was Cool G Rap, it was a representative from Tommy Boy and from, I think it was Cold Chillin' at the time, and a couple of other labels. And we all got let go in this big round table meeting that occurred.
That's incredible. So there actually was like a meeting where they were like, hey, we can't have these controversial artists associated with Time Warner anymore.
There's a big ass kiss the ring meeting. Yeah, exactly. And so we all get let go. but we all had, as you say, currency by way of the fact that all these projects were high profile as a result of the drama surrounding them. And what ended up happening was I got offers from, I want to say, probably 6 different labels to put the record out. So Tommy Boy couldn't do it. Rick Rubin wanted to do it with Deaf American, but it ended up being owned by Warner Music, and he formed another label just to be able to put the record out called Sex Records, which also got shut down by Warner Music because he was a principal. Luke Skywalker was owned by Atlantic, so he couldn't do it because that was Warner Music Group. I want to say Fourth and Broadway, same thing. All of these labels had been co-opted and had parent companies that were publicly traded, and 9 times out of 10, the parent company was Warner Music. So it was a lot of back and forth and song and dance and stuff until I ended up getting the rights to it and put it out on my own. I got independent distribution and put it out through Scarface Records. In 91, I did go to Cuba. I was invited down there by the Latin American Film Festival for a concert at Revolution Plaza and performed down there. I met Assata Shakur, who was a Panther in exile at the time. I met Fidel Castro, actually went to the presidential palace. We had, there was a huge dinner there. I met him. Spoke with him through a translator, and even though I understand he speaks English, he won't speak it in his own country, which I can understand. And basically said that I was called to the attention of them by way. He said that Minister Farrakhan told him of me and a few others, which kind of blew my mind at the time.
I'll bet, yeah.
And then a lot of the people there. At that specific concert, they knew all the words, and they knew all the words because of Radio Free Miami. So again, that was another situation where I had gone kind of from first gear to fifth gear in terms of live performances. And I show up and here's 40,000 people, saying the words to The Devil Made Me Do It, which was which was a trip, to say the least. Some of that footage made the video I just put out called Hard Truth Soldiers from the latest Pistol Politics project.
Hollywood ain't real like that. Hold up your hands if you feel like that. Where are my hard truth soldiers at? Hit that. Dog, I never run a buckle. No.
And some of that Cuba performance footage is in that.
Wow. And, from the late 90s till about 2003, you were basically retired from music.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't really retired. I was just kind of, life. Got married and, bought a house and got a rental and, and just kind of, things started getting more involved personally for me. And the musical climate was changing in that people who were saying the kind of material that I was saying just weren't getting the shine that we once got, because there was this kind of influx of gangster music that labels were pushing. I mean, I had a very crystal clear conversation with Priority Records about the direction that I was taking relative to the other things that they had on the label. And it was pretty much apparent that the relationship was over after Gorilla Funk. It was kind of a lull. I wouldn't say that I was retired, but I was always looking, I always kind of been on the lookout for the next opportunity. I did pretty consistent with movie music and music for TV and video games and things like that. So I've always been active, but the climate has changed so much, so you realize The Devil Made Me Do It came out before CDs were even around. The CDs were kind of an afterthought for The Devil Made Me Do It. So this is a long time ago. And then, CDs came out, then they burned out. Then MP3s kind of rose to prominence, and now they're burning out. And so trying to stay on top of the technological changes in the game, trying to be aligned with entities that I think will still be around in a few years has been a challenge. I've been with distributors that are gone. All the labels that I mentioned at the beginning of this interview are no longer around.
Right.
All the retail outlets that I used to frequent, that I had relationships with, for the most part, are no longer around. All the standalone music entities are absolutely gone. You know, from Tower Records to Warehouse to Music Land to Sam Goody, all those are gone, right? So the relationships now for brick and mortar are with big box retailers, and a handful of a spattering of, indie retailers, but it's a difficult climate. So
Sure.
I was never really retired. It's just a matter of finding the right fit.
Right.